everyone, this is Fran again, your Binibini Araneta City, and today I have with me JB, Sir JB. So since today we are celebrating mental health awareness, let's talk about coping up with mental health struggles. So first question for Sir JB, how do we manage someone with mental health needs?
Mhm. Thank you for that, Fran, and nice to meet you online, by the way.
Nice to meet you too, sir.
Um, I think it's really important that we are careful and sensitive in helping people with mental health concerns. We need to help without being dismissive. So maybe it's important that you take your time to listen. In conversations with people who have mental health concerns, you don't have to respond right away. So it can help you see the bigger picture before expressing your thoughts when you reflect first. So it's okay to give advice, but before you say anything, think first if that is something that the person needs.
Or helpful.
Sharing, Mhm. Yeah, because sharing your own experience must be done with caution, because we need to know that our experiences might not apply to the concerns of the person who has mental health concerns. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
even just talking about their problems can be therapeutic already. So in that case, you can be that safe space where they can express how they feel without being judged. And if you don't know what to do, it's okay to ask also. Right? So better be honest and ask them
Mm-hmm.
how you can help them.
Actually, with my experience, since I have loved ones na nagsasuffer with anxiety and depression, and pakiramdam nila kapag nagkakwento sila about sa nararamdaman nila, kapag sinasabi ng mga tao na, kaya mo yan, nasa utak mo lang yan, parang mas nangihina sila or nagkakaroon sila ng galit. Kaya yung nangyayari, parang hindi na lang sila nagsishare paminsan, like, sinasarili na lang nila.
Mhm.
Dahil nga, ayun, hindi natin alam kung paano natin sila matutulungan or kung ano yung mga tamang words na sasabihin natin. Kasi usually, minsan, mas nakaka-offend pa po tayo sa kanila. Tama po ba, sir?
Mhm. Tama talaga yun, Fran. And gusto ko lang din sabihin for those people, they really want to help. And sometimes it's just really choosing the right words to say that would offend those people who are asking for your help. Minsan kasi when we say na kaya mo yan, nasa isip mo lang
Mm-mm.
yan, it's like dismissing the difficulty of the experience. Hindi naman nila kasi pinili na to be in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are so many factors to consider, but siguro as like you said, if you have family and friends who have mental health concerns, it's also part of your responsibility to educate yourself. Diba? That's why
Yes,
doctors
tama.
are here because they want to
Tama.
learn to know what to say next time pag may lumapit sa kanila to ask for help.
Kaya maganda yung mga ganito, yung mga talk na ganito, kasi nagkaka-knowledge yung mga tao on how to help and support their loved ones or friends or kung sino man ang nagsistruggle with any mental illness. Sir, so ngayon naman, sa next question ko po is, how do you overcome our own mental health battles? Kapag ikaw na mismo yung nakakaranas, how do we overcome it?
Yeah. For those people who are diagnosed with mental health concerns, those who are struggling, it's really important na we need to explore different ways on how you can help yourself. Right? And because dealing with mental health problems, it really requires a multidimensional approach. Kasi mental health concerns are too complex to be solved using just a single approach. So what I will be sharing are actually three different levels on how you can help yourself if you are already struggling with mental health concerns. So first, you can begin with yourself. Know that as a human being, you have the innate capacity to cope and explore different ways of coping. So you can really try to reflect, introspect, look inwards and see how much you have come so far. It actually says a lot about how much you can overcome. So tignan mo yung mga challenges that you have overcome in the past few
Mm-hmm.
years. It's
Mm-hmm.
a sign already of how strong you are as a person. It's also important that you engage in self care, and these are activities that allow you to take care of your physical, mental, emotional, and even your social needs. There are so many actually activities that you can choose
Mm-hmm.
from,
Like what
and
po?
Mhm. Like exercising,
Mm-hmm.
creating boundaries, learning how to say no, and making time for
Yeah.
yourself. Yung mga
Mm-hmm.
self-pampering. Although ngayon hindi lang masyado safe na lumabas and magpa-pamper, but it's a good way also to take care of yourself.
So, sir, since sabi mo po kanina, para to sa mga diagnose, what if
Mm,
pag hindi naman nila alam na diagnose sila, so how will they help
mm,
themselves if hindi naman nila alam na they are battling with depression or anxiety or any mental illness?
mm. That's a really good question, but this applies not just to people who are diagnosed, but also people who are struggling, but they don't know what their concern is as of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't really consulted yet. Um, Parang before you can even realize that you have a problem, you need to
Mm-hmm.
know first that you are struggling. Kaya importante din talaga na you give yourself the time and space to reflect at the end of the day. Kasi as
Mm-hmm.
human beings, we're always busy. Like you, as Binibini Araneta, you're
Mm-hmm.
always doing a lot of things. Like you said, you
Mm-hmm.
only slept for minsan for an hour
For an
when you have
hour
a lot of
today,
things
I
to do.
just slept for an hour. So, pasensya na po kung puyat-puyat po ako ngayon and yung boses ko paos.
It's okay. We totally understand that. But like I said, if you are always busy and if you're not being intentional about reflecting on your experiences, and hindi mo talaga malalaman na you're already struggling,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, bibigyan mo yung self mo ng time and space to reflect on your experiences. So, you would know. And if you have a problem, then you can start exploring your options.
Actually, from my experience, I've experienced depression before. Kasi, I was really active. Like, and after I graduated, before I graduated kasi, I lost my father 2 weeks before my graduation. So, I was really sad. And then after that, bigla akong nagka-call na mag-compete daw ako sa China. So, I felt na yung dad ko yun, ginagabayan ako. Like, siya yung nagbigay ng opportunity nito sa akin. Then, when I was in China, I won. I won an international pageant. And then, when I went home, sobrang daming projects. I even had my teleserye in GMA. Nag-host din ako ng TV show. Nakapaglaro din ako sa pangarap kong game show, which is Minute to Win It. Nakapag-guesting ako sa Showtime. Sobrang dami kong works. And imagine all of that. Ang laki ng kinikita ko, ang dami kong ginagawa, sobrang saya ko, ang dami kong nami-meet na tao. And then suddenly, I stopped. I stopped doing everything because I was afraid. Okay, I will be honest here. Alam ko marami mga kapanood. I was afraid that if I was busy or if I was away from my partner, he might eventually cheat. So, nagkaroon ako ng anxiety with that na kapag nasa work ako, ay baka, ayan. So, when I stopped working, nagkaroon ako ng bagong triggers or bagong kinaka-anxious. How can I pay my own bills? How can I help my family if I'm not earning anymore? So, dun po nag-start yung anxiety and depression ko. And what I did was, I joined Binibining Pilipinas. Even if I was struggling. Because I know, kapag nabalik ko yung sarili ko, tulad ng sinabi mo po kanina, kapag busy ka, kapag may ginagawa kang activities na gusto mo, for me kasi, pageant is something that, what do you call this? Something that makes my confidence up again.
Mm-hmm.
Parang, I am alive when I am doing pageantry. So, that is one way na na-cope up ko yung sarili kong mental health battles.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing your story, Fran. I know na hindi madali na
Hindi
i-admit.
talaga madali po. Sobrang hirap. Lalo na when it comes to pageant nga, sabi nyo nga din po kanina na kailangan you are physically and mentally ready. So
Yeah.
imagine niyo, I was struggling and then may bago pa akong kinaka-struggle, which is the pressure and everything. But thank God that I have overcome it. So next question po, sir, is how to face another day or people, everyday activity when you know that you are not okay? Because that is hard.
Yeah, it's really hard for some people. Even just getting out of bed is already a struggle, especially
Mm-hmm.
if you have mental health problems already.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it can be like a daunting task to just wake up and start your day. That's why it's really important to recognize first that what you go through is valid, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you can take a day off to rest, if it's something that your schedule will allow, I encourage you to do it. But I also want you to remember that if there are bad days, eventually there will be good days as well. So kakapit ka lang talaga. Take a look at your progress also to see how far um, you have achieved and overcome. And each day is another bad day that you can just overcome. Now, if it's
Mm-hmm.
overwhelming, you don't have to. Parang you can start taking small steps, focusing
Mm-hmm.
task at a time. So you start by getting out of bed, taking a shower, eating your breakfast until you can eventually overcome the day.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to just really take it one day at a time.
Mm-hmm. Tama po yan, sir. Actually, sobrang hirap talaga kapag hindi ka okay. Kasi nga tulad nga ng sinabi mo, minsan bumangon lang, napakahirap na. And naalala ko, nag-attend ako ng speech ni Catriona Gray and there's this one girl, sa sports siya, sinabi niya, breakdown before breakthrough. So, ngayon, tuwing nalulungkot ako or if walang magandang nangyayari sa life ko ngayon, pinalitan ko yung mindset ko because of that quote, breakdown before breakthrough. Parang ngayon, kapag nalulungkot ako or if yung plans ko hindi natuloy, iisipin ko lang na, may mas magandang plano si Lord. So parang mas magiging excited ka imbis na malungkot ka. I think also dapat may mindset tayong ganito. Always have a positive mindset with everything para ma-overcome natin yung mga battles natin.
I think that's a good way of looking at situation. Diba na if that's the challenge that you are facing right now, what are you gaining from it? Diba? There's also, speaking of Catriona Gray, gagamitin na lang din natin siya as a reference, diba? She said, there's always a silver lining in the experiencing. So that's a good way of looking at really difficult situation.
Mm-hmm. And also, you just really need to live in the moment. Huwag mo munang isipin yung past, huwag mo isipin yung future. Kasi usually dun tayo na-anxious eh. If we're so focused on the future, kung anong mangyayari sa future natin, I think that is one trigger to anxiety.
So you mentioned, Fran, that sometimes being stuck in the past and thinking too much of the future can make it difficult for us to live in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally agree with what you said. But I also want to say lang that there's nothing wrong with thinking about the past and thinking about the future also. Because in the past, if you think about the past, it will allow you to learn from your mistakes and see your progress. And when you think about the future, you can plan ahead, anticipate, so you can envision the version of yourself that you want to realize in the future, right? But it's really focusing too much in the past, yung rumination, and focusing too much in the future that you're always worried about what's going to happen next that can be problematic. So it's really important that you just remind yourself that you need to be in the moment, you need to live in the present because it's where you can actually exercise the control. It's where you can do something about your problems in the
Mhm.
past and in the future.
Ang ganda ng sinabi niyo po, sir. Tama, pero wag lang po sobra kasi lahat ng sobra ay masama. So, for our next question po, how to understand and embrace what you are going through? How can you accept the fact that you have mental health problem?
So, because of what you shared earlier, I also would like to
Yes.
know thoughts on this. But to answer your question, it's important that we recognize that our experiences, our struggles, are all valid. Like right now, because of the pandemic, it's perfectly normal to be sad and anxious because ang daming nangyayari that are beyond our control. So it's okay to take your time and reflect on your experiences and how they have affected who you are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, However, aside from reflecting on your experiences, you can proactively deal with your struggles. Marami kang pwedeng gawin to understand what you are going through. So you can begin by educating yourself. Gaya ng sinabi mo kanina, you can learn from this webinar, diba? This engagement.
Mm-hmm.
So there
Mm-hmm.
are actually a lot of free webinars about mental health, including this. That's why I would like to say lang na I appreciate the efforts of the organization, the Araneta City organization to have
Yes.
initiatives like this because people can learn um, from our discussion today. So there are organizations providing free mental health services as well. Just have to look in the internet talaga and you can ask for recommendations, instructions on where you can go for further help. And then lastly, there are also support groups that you can join to know more about yourself by interacting with others and learning from their experiences.
Based on my experience, hindi tinatanggap ng mga tao kapag meron silang mental health problems. So sa akin, I am promoting it that they should accept it and they should ask help for it. Kasi mahirap kapag di mo tinatanggap dahil kapag mas tumagal, kapag hindi naagapan, mas matagal magsasuffer yung tao.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, we're thankful for that initiative that you have, and people like you are very important because you have a following. But people will listen to you because of the platform that you have. So we appreciate that you're using it to advocate for mental health. And just to respond to what you said, it's really important kasi, di ba, for physical health, lagi nating sinasabi na prevention is better than cure.
Sure.
You need to take vitamins, diba, boost your immune system, and then consult with your physician pag meron kang nararamdaman para maagapan ka agad.
Mm-mm.
That's also the same thing for our mental health. You don't have to wait for things to get worse para lumala yung mga symptoms mo before you decide to seek professional help. So once you feel like meron ka ng pinagdadaanan, you don't have to go directly to a mental health professional. Pwede ka naman mag-open to your friends and family muna. Start conversation. Let people that you trust know that you are struggling. Baka makatulong din. But if you think you've tried everything, yung self-care na sinasabi ko kanina, nag-open up ka na rin pero hindi talaga nakatulong, then you might want to start seeking help already.
Mm-mm. And also, buti nga ngayon, nabibigyan na ng importance ang mental health kasi before hindi talaga siya napag-uusapan. Ngayon, meron na rin films, short films, meron na rin mga kanta about this. And also, sir, gusto ko magpasalamat kasi nandyan kayo. Kasi kayo po yung may mas knowledge kaysa sa amin. Yes, we are advocating, pero iba pa rin po yung knowledge na naibabahagi niyo po para sa amin.
Thank you. It's a collaboration between the advocates, the professional, even government officials. Kasi nga sinasabi ko, mental health is a complex it's a complex experience, it's a health issue. So kaya kailangan lahat ng stakeholders should do their part in advocating for it.
Additional question lang po. Anxiety and depression, may triggers po ba ito or bigla na lang siyang dumadating? Kasi some sinasabi nila, wala naman akong problema, pero bakit ako nagkakaganito? So, I don't know if may trigger or talagang pwede siyang mangyari without triggers.
Mm. It can really be both. And maybe it's important for people to know that when we talk about mental health, the important factors are always the biological, psychological, and then social
Mm.
factors. Like how you describe it, no? What if, for those people who are um, parang who seem to be getting enough support, those people who are living comfortable lives, parang how come that they still have mental health concerns?
Yes, actually, yun nga eh.
And it's because mental health concerns can also be because of the chemical imbalance in the brain. It's also because of the brain structure. Some, um, if not most of mental health concerns are highly hereditary as well. So even
Mm.
if yung environment mo, even if you have supportive parents, but if you have inherited, you're predisposed to experience mental health concerns as well. So your personality can also be a factor, your intelligence, even your
Really?
capacity to cope. So hindi lang talaga siya about having, financial stability. It's not about having so many friends that will support you. There are so many factors that can
So, bakit
affect.
nagkaka-chemical imbalance? Because of the hereditary.
It's possible that it's in the genes. That's why people experience chemical imbalance. It's also
Mm.
because of our experiences. Some people might experience traumatic situations, which can be triggers of mental health concerns as well. So halo-halo, it's hard to say na it's being caused by a single factor. No? Yung parang mutual relationship, sometimes your social experiences can also affect the brain chemicals. Your perception of your experiences might also have an effect in your brain, and vice versa. The brain, your nervous system can also affect your mood and emotion.
Mm.
How complex the whole concept of mental health is.
Kasi usually sa ganyan, laging tinatanong if may trauma ka nung childhood. Childhood mo siya pinagdaanan, pero bakit ngayon lang siya na-trigger? Pwede ba yun? Pwede yun, no, sir? Kasi parang ganun yung mga naririnig ko sa iba.
I can actually speak from experience. I'm seeing some clients that they have problems in their childhood. Sobrang layo na. And then they
Pero ngayon
wonder,
lang.
ayun lang
Bakit
nag-manifest yung
ganun?
problem. Isang malaking explanation siguro is that when we're younger, our capacity to think, yung cognitive functioning natin is not yet fully developed. So hindi pa natin naiintindihan yung buong experience. Diba? But as we grow older and we reflect on our experiences, that's when we realize na okay, it was something abusive. It was traumatic. And that's why it's late for some people to manifest. But in trauma in general, pwede kasing traumatic yung experience mo during childhood. Tapos only for you to realize that it's manifesting in your adulthood na. So sobrang layo na that. That's also parang a common presentation of trauma. Late na nag-manifest yung effects of the traumatic experiences on your mental health. So yes, it's possible.
And lastly, ang dami ko pong natutunan sa inyo. Maraming salamat. So how can we turn this battle into something positive?
There are so many ways to open a box. Diba? And even I would like to quote an American poet when he said na it's not what you look at that matters. It's what you see. It also applies to how we perceive our experiences. So by reflecting on your experiences, you understand how they have affected you. So you might lose some, but what have you gained from that experience? So in reflecting, you might learn how to avoid being in the same situation again. You can start establishing your boundaries, learning how to say no, and then start taking care of yourself more. You can also pay attention to your thoughts. Are you thinking realistically, rationally? And then lastly, if you have experienced something negative, focus on what you can do in the present to improve your situation. So, like what I said earlier, practice self care, opening up to others, and then seek professional help if necessary.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm a real believer of God. Eh. I just wanna share that I believe that everything happens for a reason. Hindi ka bibigyan ng battles ni Lord na hindi mo kakayanin. And I think etong battles na ganito tulad ng mental health problems, kapag na-overcome natin to, tayo ang magiging inspirasyon para sa iba. Tayo ang magtuturo sa iba kung paano labanan nito. Kaya I think yung problem na ganito para ma-turn into positive, like me, naging advocate ako about mental health. Ginamit ko yung experience ko and yung mga learnings ko from it para matulungan ko yung iba na malabanan din ito.
Yes, thank you for that, Fran. I also just want to say na I really admire that you're this open to share your story, and by advocating for it, a lot of people can learn from your experience, not just your fellow beauty queens who might also be struggling because of the pressure. Parang, because recently, yung beauty pageants really gained traction. It became really famous to everyone. So I always ask myself, how do these girls maintain
It's so hard.
Yes, with all
With the
the pressure.
pressures, with the bashings, with the expectations, it's really hard. Talagang
Yes.
matatamaan yung mental health mo.
All the more reason for you to do something about it, because you can start protecting your mental health. You don't have to wait to experience mental health problems to take care of your
Yes,
mental
yes, yes.
health. Being proactive, and of course not just beauty pageant yung contestants, not just fellow beauty queens, but also girls, other girls, men, and other people can learn from your experiences. So thank you
And
for
I
sharing.
really appreciate it na na-appreciate mo. I'm really open about it kasi I hope and I think makakapag-inspire ako ng iba na maging open din. You know, kasi with mental health, if you have anxiety and depression, yun nga yung nagiging problem eh. Ayaw natin i-share sa mundo, kahit sa friends natin or sa loved ones natin. Ayaw natin i-open ito dahil natatakot tayo. I hope sa lahat po ng nanonood, ma-inspire po kayo to open up kasi nakakatulong po talaga yun. If you really want to heal, you need to help yourself. And sana po sa mga may loved ones na nakaka-experience niyan, let us do our part to support. Let us do our research kung ano yung best way matulungan natin ang mga taong ito kasi ayaw natin na mas makadagdag pa sa kanilang problema.
Okay. Can I just add something? Okay. Just to respond to what you said, I like the idea that we're starting conversations. This will make people comfortable to open up. But we also want to assure those people who are not yet ready to share their story that
Yes,
it's
yes.
okay.
That it's
Um,
okay.
it's okay. Take your time. But I hope that with conversations like this, eventually you will be more comfortable kasi kailangan
You will
talaga
be
yung
at ease.
kailangan talaga na you allow people in your life to help you as well.
Yes. It was such a great discussion, Sir JB. Thank you so much. I hope that this will somehow help our viewers to be kinder and more loving to others, especially to themselves. And lagi natin iisipin na we are not alone. And there's always someone ready to listen to us. And always remember that we are stronger than any battles. We are stronger than any anxiety, depression, or any mental health problems. Again, break down before breakthrough.